Okay, here we go. Hmm. Oh no. Okay, well, I guess we're gonna. so, that's fine. We'll just go ahead and come back on here, I think. Okay. All right, guys. I'm still learning eCam, but it's all good because it's amazing to do that. Here we go. I got you. Okay. So we're just going to get started. So basically, my name's Stacey Lauren. I'm the founder of Do the Thing, and I help people build online engaged and activated communities. But what I really help them do is how to show up online, right? How to actually, just like what just happened, right? How to overcome when something happens and it's not right, and not to beat yourself up about it, but to know that it's all going to work out because your heart is there, your effort is there, and the mission of what you want to say to the world is there. And so you no longer worry about what people think or what they say, feeling judged, because you're so tapped into your mission and to what you stand for and your conviction in the world, that it's what means everything. And that's what gets you to not have to over prep, over plan, over structure, over choreograph anything, because what you're saying is from your heart and from how you're able to really command that out of you without all the other things that we think that we need. And so I'm so grateful for Capshow for just being able to like see that and being able to create the space to understand that. When we first partnered together, that was one of the biggest things I mentioned to to Bona and Deidre. It was like, I'm still messy, right? I'm Do the Thing, right? It's all about being messy. I'm like, are you going to be okay with that? And they were like, yes, we want that. That's you. That's who you are. And that's what I love about them, is that they are like wanting people to create content from their own voice. They're not wanting to like have all the yes, you learn all of this amazing stuff. You are going to learn amazing editing and like how to get your podcast up all the way to the ranks of Google and all these things, right? But there's a point of that where you could move so fast when you can just start. And then as you go, then great. Now you make the fancy image. Now you do the editing. Now you create the great intro and the great outro. And that's what's so amazing about Capshow, is when you're able to get your voice out of your head, and the thoughts, and what I mean by that, all the thoughts that are in your head, both your goals, your dreams, your advice, your expertise, your fears, your uncertainty, and all the things that kind of like are inside of us. When those come out, and then you're able to put it in Capshow, that's where the magic happens. That's where the magic happens, because whatever that looks like. I've done voice notes where I've just like blabbed on for like 10 minutes. Even like I call them venting voice notes, where I've like vented for 10 minutes and I've put that into Capshow, and I've gotten a year's worth of content because of how their program is structured. And that's what's so beautiful about all of this. And so that's how you show up online, is you don't worry about all the other noise. And so this episode is all about how we're going to show up online consistently and without like all of those fears bogging us down. And so what I really want to show you is how to get your voice out, how to get it out in the most kind of like authentic and real and beautiful way, so that you can move fast, Because if you are going to over prep and over plan everything that you do, it's going to take too long to show up, because the person that needs to hear your message, the person that's like on the floor and doesn't know if they're going to make it through tomorrow, they don't need all that stuff for you to get started. Now, there's a point in time that you'll be going and you'll be in momentum and you'll be able to like have it look pretty and perfect and all this stuff, but you're already in momentum, right? And so when you're first like, or it's not even first, because this is for experienced people too, I help people break through the perfection also that are at the highest level. And so I think what we'll do right now is I want to show you kind of like the biggest piece of what I like to help people with, which I think would be helpful to do right now. Let me just get there if I can. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, so we're going to go here. Hopefully you can see that. Okay. So basically, here's the deal, you guys. This is a person's human kind of like transformation, right? The horse is the moment that like you had the thing that you the breakdown moment. It's the moment of the pain. It's the moment that you didn't know how you were going to get through tomorrow. It's where you don't have the words for what you're going to say, or for the words for what you're going to say, the words for like what even happened, right? You're stuck in the pain of it. The horse is like that, right? It's like you just had the thing happen, the transition, the divorce, the death, the grief, right? All of that, right? And there's some people that never get out of the horse mode. They stay there forever. And there's different times of our lives that we get into horse mode again, depending on what happens, right? Whenever that thing happens again, then we're in horse mode again. We don't want to talk about it yet. We want to just be able to like sit there and be, right? But there's some people that never get through that. Now you're on Capsho's YouTube channel. So you found your voice. You were like, okay, I need to ask for help. I need to see how to get out of this pain, right? Maybe you saw a coach, you started finding mentors, you started finding communities of people that you could be in and ask for help, kind of like tap into who you are, what you even want, right? And then as you're feeling kind of like comfortable with yourself again and getting more confident and courageous, now you're like, okay, I feel like I could probably help someone get through this pain, and maybe they don't have to go through the same thing that I did. And maybe I could save them time in like the pain that I had to go through. So if I took 2 years to get through something and I know something that can help someone get through it in a week, I'm going to share my voice about it. And that's where many of you have started a podcast, or you've written a blog, or you have a newsletter, right? Or you're sharing your voice through maybe speaking or TEDx talks and things like that. And then you went into wanting to monetize your voice, because there's a point where you're sharing your voice and maybe you still have a regular job, or maybe you've decided to have this be your full-time business, but you're wanting to figure out how to make money at it. And that could be your podcast, where you're wanting to get sponsors, or you're wanting to sell a program or a membership or affiliate offers, right? Or maybe even you want the money to go to a nonprofit that you've started, but you're funding your mission, you're funding your cause through monetizing your voice. And that's scary. And so because you're like, is what I have to say of value? And even when you monetize your voice, I remember when I first did my first challenge, I think it was $47. And that was the most I had charged for something, right? And so then when I charged $200 was another thing. Then when I charged $3,000, it was another find your voice moment. And then when I charged $6,000, it was another find your voice moment. It's like, is what I have to share of value? Will people actually pay me for this? And is it going to be worth it, right? So you're finding your voice at each new level. And then maybe at that point, you decide you want to create a movement. And then the next level is you're having like a global reach for your movement, where you're ready to take it on the big, stage where other people are seeing it. And so what you're seeing is really like a human, how we each have transformed to be in the space that we are. The other thing I teach is now how to take that movement and make this a collective transformation where your community goes through the same process together. And if we think of like even ClickFunnels, Russell Brunson, he does this through funnels, right? Finding your voice through a funnel where it's like they found their voice, they're sharing their voice, they're monetizing their voice, creating a movement. So it doesn't have to just be your voice speaking, it could be your voice through writing. And so Capsho is doing that right now, right? Many of you are doing that where you maybe started as the horse. Now you're finding your voice or sharing the voice. That's what I am, right? I'm one of their partners. And I also use Capsho. And they're giving me the space to share my voice in their platform. And so they're doing it actually right now. And so the point is when you know where your comfort circle is, that's when you're really the most alive, because you realize that what you're doing isn't outside of your comfort zone. It's just outside of your comfort circle. And so that's what I like to help people do is they basically are participating in these challenges that are community-based challenges, and they're going through these different circles, whether it's the horse, finding their voice, sharing their voice, and then when it's time to, and monetizing their voice, then when it's time to create a movement, that's when they host the challenges. And so the point is you're activating the voices within a community. And so let's go back to showing up online. Let me just try to get this off the screen here again. I'm gonna get there, here we go. See if I could default, maybe, is it default? Do the thing, let's see here. Full screen, maybe, full screen. Yep, there we go. Okay, I don't know how to get it big again though, but that's okay. Okay, well, so that's basically, when you think about showing up online, that is the secret. It's being able to start in a group with people that have the same goal. And you guys could be doing this right now inside the Capsho community, right? Being able to start to feel comfortable with your voice inside that community. And when I say you're comfortable, many of you are creators that are already like producing, millions of pieces of content and already that thing. But I want to point out there's a difference when you found your voice within it, because when you realize that you don't need the show and you could be yourself, it gets you to be faster and it gets you to create more content, more real content that actually engages. And that's how you're able to show up consistently, is by like not worrying about what anyone thinks about you. And so that's what I recommend you using the Capsho community for, where you're able to almost like practice. And then you can take those, whether it's going live in there or posting or whatever video or whatever you want to do. And then you're able to take those lives and you're able to take those videos and you could put it into Capsho, and then that will pull out a year's worth of content. Now, if you're just watching this and you're not in Capsho yet, they do have I believe it's a trial membership that you guys could sign up for and see if you like it. And then you'll get to start to understand what that looks like. But that's the biggest thing I wanted to share today is how do you actually get visible online? And it is by starting small. And so I will show you guys one other thing here in terms of posting too, and being able to have a comfort circle around posting. Let me just pull it up on my thing. Here we go. Canva. Okay. Ha, I have it. I'm just gonna find out how to get it here. Screen share. Great. Yeah, so there's two kind of like comfort circles here also. So when you're posting, wherever you're posting, so let's just talk about your group actually. Why don't I speak in terms of that? So I think the fastest way to show up online is by starting your own community. And we'll just say it's on Facebook because that's what I'm at this point leaning towards, just because it's easier to be on there. But there are other platforms you could do this on. So I recommend to show up online in the biggest way and the most consistent way is to have your own community that you're able to post in. Now, here's the thing. You're able to start any way that you want. And so if you're not ready to go live yet, then you could type, right? And so if you're wanting to audio record, you could audio. If you're wanting to video, you could video, or you could go live, or you could do something I call my people party, which is gathering people around a goal, and you get to invite them to that. And that's how you're also able to create content, because you're not only creating your own content, you're creating content from what people actually like are talking about and what they're asking you questions are on. When people ask you questions, it pulls out more content of your brain, because they're actually able to they're able to ask the thing that you already know, but you didn't know people didn't know or need. And then there's a whole nother set of comfort circles I use with people, which is how to actually talk to strangers. Where first you're recording yourself, then you could record with someone you know, then you could record with someone you don't know but have a shared experience, and then you could record with a total stranger. And I do this, I have these on my YouTube channel where I've done street interviews with people and done these like fun prompts. Like my favorite one is, what is something you've done recently that you're proud of? And that also is a way to create like a lot of content, because when you're out, you can actually ask people that question. It opens up this whole amazing conversation. They love it because they're getting out of their comfort zone, getting to do it with you. And so it's a really beautiful way to connect with people. I actually have done this all over the world. I went to Italy, and Paris, and New York, London, and asked the same question, and it's what actually helped connect people together, and then also created a bunch of content, right? And so if I think about this from you guys, let me tap back into you. Let me see how to find myself again. 1 second here. Full screen. Yay, I did it. Okay. So when I think about this I'm going to simplify my message and what we have shared on this live, which is, how do you show up, right, online? I'm going to recommend that the best way you show up online is to start a group and go live inside that group and start just talking and getting comfortable. And then when you're ready, you can start inviting people into that group based on the goal that the group has. And the more you do that, the more comfortable you get. And then each of those lives you can then put inside of CapShow, and it could pull out the content for you. For those of you that aren't ready to start your own group, then CapShow has a group that you could do this in and just start talking in there. I'm imagining that it would be fun for you to go live, for other people to go live, and just start to empty out your mind with like a reflection of something that you're feeling that day, maybe even a win that you had, and you want to share in the group, things like that. And so those are some different ways that you can do it. I'm going to see if I could pull up. I have a bank. I actually give people dares, and I can actually give you guys a little dare bank. This is inside my high level program. I have my People Party program where I teach people how to build online communities, but and I give them this like dare bank. Let me just find it really quickly to like help them go live basically. But I can share with you guys just so you have an idea of what it is. Here go. Oops, wrong one. Go. See, almost there. Is it that one? Oh, there we go. Okay, cool. I'm going to show it to you. All right, here we go. Screen share. Okay, cool. Yeah, so I have a dare bank in here. I'll pull this up. Go. Host a party. Almost there. Bonus stairs. Almost positive it's on this thing. There we go. Perfect. Okay. Great. Here we go. Yeah. So, and I even say it here. There's 3 places you can go live. Your own group where your audience lives. I say my collaboration group, but we're on CapShow, so I would say just to do it in there. And then basically you're reflecting on something that has happened recently. You're reading out loud your post and you're reflecting on it. These are ways that you could show up consistently, is by doing these kind of like reflections. And you could either do this, I suggest you do it as a live, but if you're not ready to go live yet, then you could also type the answer. You could audio record the answer and put it in CapShow and pull out something. You could video it, all that stuff. So this is basically like a way that you could easily create show up online consistently is by doing this inside of a group where you feel more safe to just kind of do what I'm doing. I'm showing it real time where I have a system for helping people show up online, but I'm trying to make it like as quick as possible. And so I'm just like, you're seeing me process my thoughts on what the system is as we're walking through it. So I'm kind of modeling what I do inside my group pretty much on Capsho's channel. Thank you, Deidre and Bona, for allowing me to do this. But this is what I do. I document my process. I document my journey with my community. And that's what gets them connected to me and engaged with me. And you can do this too, right? If you're not ready to start your own group, do this inside Capsho's group. But basically, this would be something like even today, you could reflect on something that happened recently. You could say, I just listened to this podcast. I just watched this live stream. I just read a book. I just had an amazing transformation with the client. And then you could reflect on that happened recently. For example, I'm now licensing my challenges to go inside other people's communities. Had I not just been going straight from that to this, I have a community. I would have been reflecting specifically on that party that I just had where we invited people to a challenge because it was amazing. And my mind is blown. I will tell you really quickly what happened was I was in my head because the first time I did the party, people didn't understand what I was inviting them to. And I almost was like thinking I needed someone else to do it with me. But what happened was this time I was more myself. People understood it. And not only that, you guys, but they're like, we're going to share this with our networks. So not only did they sign up for the challenge, but they got activated. Somebody shared it with 40,000 people in his network. Another guy shared it with 20,000 people in his network. It was a whole huge thing. And so I just am telling you how great it is to just be able to show up online and to like not think that you have to be something else when you're showing up. And so, yeah, here we go. Another one is, why do you want to disrupt the market with your voice? This came from one of my challenges. This is a great way to so when you're doing this, you're not saying like, oh, I was dared, although you can, but you can also just go in your group. You can go in Capsho's group and you could basically start with, listen, I was thinking about this today, and this is really why I want to be with you guys. This is why I want to disrupt the market with my voice. And like for me, for example, I have a ton of content I can pull up about this because I get exhausted watching people teach people from where they are now and not from where they started. And I think there's so much distraction in the online space, and people are getting exhausted with spending too much money on things that they're not ready for yet. And I think that there needs to be a sequence of like, okay, you should do this after you're making $10,000 a month. Then you could pay money for editing your podcast, or you need to worry about your images after you've done 50 episodes, whatever it is, right? And so that's my way to answer this dare. And then if I pull that content, that live that I just did, whether it's in my group, I mean, first of all, it's content just by you going live, right? That's content. But then you could also pull the content. You could put it in Capsho, and then it pulls out polls, conversation starters, emails, a LinkedIn newsletter, whatever you want, basically. So there's some more. If you were going to write a book, what book would you write? What's great about this one is you're just pulling out your goals and your dreams, and that's content. That's what people want to know, right? And then you're always able to then flip it to something that like you're doing now, which is great. What is something you love that you can't stop talking about? When you start talking about it, that is content. And so these are just some examples of things that I like to do with people. But you guys could use all these and do it now, basically, just by taking one of these that I said and doing it that way. Okay, here we go. All right, well, great. Well, that's what I wanted to share with you. I thought this could be just a quick way for me to help you see how simple it is to show up online. That's by not like thinking you have to be something in order to show up, and knowing that whoever is your person, whether it's a collaboration partner, whether it's someone joining your audience, whether it's someone that wants you to speak on their stage, whatever it is, if you're not their person, then it's actually good that it didn't work out, right? And so the more that you're tapped into who you are, the more people want you on their stage, the more people that want you to collaborate with them, the more people want you to join your group and to buy your stuff. And so that is really important for you to understand, is like, take all that stuff away of like what you think need to be online, right? So that's number one, showing up online. Number two is understanding that comfort circle map. See where you are in the map. Are you in horse mode? Are you in find your voice mode? Are you in share your voice mode? Are you in monetize your voice mode? Are you in wanting to create a movement? And then really being able to, like, if you're stuck at one of those circles, it's knowing, if you're stuck in a circle, it's really knowing that and not beating yourself up for it and saying, okay, I just need to get past this circle, right? And I do actually have a 5-day free right now inside of my community. If you guys want to join, it's dothethingcollaboration.com. Dothethingcollaboration.com. I'm giving a 5 days free. It's a week free for a program that I have called My People Party Bootcamp, where I teach people how to create an online community, how to get around people through really fun virtual and in-person events. And so you're welcome to join that as well. And so, yeah, so there you go. And then the last thing is just going live. And I don't mean you have to go live on Instagram yet. You can go live in your own group if you're ready for that, or you can go live in the Cap Show group if you're ready for that. And if you're not ready to go live, then that's fine. Just start by audio recording, typing, and then for those of you that are using Cap Show, you'll plug it into Cap Show after. And that's when you'll create the most beautiful newsletter, the most beautiful posts, the most beautiful conversation starters, and really everything that you need to be able to show up consistently. All right, you guys, do the thing. Don't wait for opportunity. Create it.